What career fields are seeing a spike in applications, and we'll walk through stage 2 on the clear path to meaningful work. We'll take your calls and your chats, and it starts now. I'm coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville, and you're joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how you can get there. It is about your purpose. And here's the fun irony. Your purpose has nothing to do with you. It's actually about others. We believe here in the Ken Coleman Show that you were created to work, created to contribute. And so that a big portion of your life, as it is spent in work, it is not spent just to make enough money to live. It is actually spent doing what you were created to do, making a positive contribution to this world, and achieving not just satisfaction, but significance. Realizing that you made a significant difference and all work is honorable. So that's our view. And we just feel like life is too short to live for the weekend with the truth we just shared. Monday mornings should have some juice to them because you're excited about the work, because you know you're good at it and you know you love to do it, and you know it creates a result that makes your heart sing. So let's help you figure out what stage you're in. Are you in stage 1? Get clear. Are you in stage 2? Get qualified. We're going to unpack that a little bit later in the program, and we're doing this all this week, and then we got 7 stages, so we'll go into next week. And I want you to understand each stage clearly and what you need to do with them to be able to move to the next stage, ultimately to work like no one else, work with true meaning. So, thrilled to have you. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. Toll-free number you can call right now. Phone lines are open. Madison is standing by. Also, you can submit your questions via chat. That's right there next to the video window. You can submit those, and our team is monitoring those. And so they'll send them here to my laptop, and we'll get to a few today. Also know that you can email the show, ask@kencoleman.com, if you'd like to call in and maybe schedule that, or just know, hey, we're live, right? So you just call in. Call right now. We've had people come out of the chat room, call Madison, and on the show just like that, all right? So one other thing. I don't ask you to do this every day, but we had our best YouTube month ever, so I want to say big thanks to all of you for watching, whether you watch live at 12 Eastern, 11 Central, every Monday through Friday, or you're watching later. If you are watching, whether live or now, give us a thumbs up. It's right below me there. And if you haven't subscribed and you're enjoying the show regularly, subscribe. It's not going to clutter up your inbox. It's going to remind you, and it's going to go live and let you know with a notification. That's all. And then if you consider giving us your greatest contribution, which is your endorsement, share an episode or share the link on social media or in an email to friends. We're really excited about the growth, because what that means is this message of positivity, which is all around purpose, is needed more than ever, and you are digesting it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So I saw an article that I want to share with you. Saw an article. I think I said saw an article. Sounded like all one word, like with 3 syllables, Joe. I saw an article. There we go. You know, people want to know, do you like being live? I love being live. But part of being live, Joe, we did a radio interview this morning in Tampa, and the guy said, do you prefer tape things or do you prefer live things? And I said, I love live, but part of the deal with live is, and I've been doing this a long time, you're going to jarble some words. And I just did there. I just took 3 words, smashed them together. So here we go. Saw a fun article here that I think is very relevant, and you need to hear this. Staffing industry analysts put out an article, and basically they analyzed the job boards for applications in Q2. Couple things to take away. The first is that applications for U.S. jobs, not surprisingly, increased by 11.3% in the second quarter. All right. Interestingly enough, marketing was the industry that saw the biggest spike in people looking for work. Now, here's the top 10 industries with the largest spikes in job applications. And I share this because I want you to understand how competitive these industries are. Spike in applications, more competitive. And that's why we do our Get Hired course, a digital course for only $20, kencoleman.com, help you get the edge. Here are the top 10. Marketing, as we said, number 1. Number 2, finance. Education, number 3. Sales, 4. Human resources, 5. Customer service, 6. Engineering, 7. Accounting, 8. Healthcare, 9. Security, 10. Now let's go back to the list. The top 4 marketing applications were up 127%. Finance up 69%. Education up 53%. Sales up 41%. The rest of them down in the low 20s. So huge spike in marketing, finance, education, and sales. You need to be aware of that. Now, there was one other little piece that I want to share with you in this report, and that is among the job titles, so not industries, but job titles that were searched: physician assistant, data analyst, and nurse practitioner, 2 of the 3 in the medical field. So that's interesting. So be aware. If you're going that direction, very, very competitive. That's why kencoleman.com, free and our very low-priced resources are game changers for you. Game changers. So go peruse the free and the store. And we've got stuff there that will help you stand out, because right now you're talking about an unbelievable amount of people looking for work, and everything is contracted. So you have got to stand out. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. Reminder, fire those chat questions away, and we'll get to a few of those momentarily. All right, here we go. We're going to go to the phones. Dan starts us off in Wheaton, Illinois. Dan, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. Thanks so much for taking my call. Just want to give a quick success story about the proximity principle, and then a quick question if you have time.
Yeah, I love it. Tell folks how you succeeded. This is what really fires people up.
Right. So after working in banking and doing home equity loans for a long time, about 6 years, I really identified a job I wanted as a mortgage loan officer, helping people, buy homes and refinance is what I really wanted to get into. And I was applying for jobs and was running into what a lot of people do is, they want you to have 1 year or 2 years experience and have experience in these certain things. So it was kind of a roadblock. Even some lower level positions I was trying to go for, I just wasn't even getting interviews or anything like that. So I ended up applying for a job at a company, and almost 2 weeks went by, didn't hear anything. Ended up talking to my sister, who knows this lady at the gym that works for the company. Let her know I was, interested in this. The next day, I got a call from a higher level person. Couple of weeks of back and forth trying to set up a call with different people, but eventually, got an interview with someone, and they ended up knowing someone I currently work with, and we had a great conversation. They reached out to them, and basically I got the job.
There you go.
So it was, kind of just, the experience was going to be a hurdle, but then just, with these people's recommendation, the experience didn't even come up. So it's just, it's just awesome.
Good for you, dude. You know what you did? You just started looking for your connections, and you started connecting the dots. The old, kind of elementary school activity where you get a sheet and they go, connect the dots. And then you connect the dots. You go, oh, it's a dog holding a bone, and you didn't know what it was when you started. So you've done a great job with that. And I'm so glad you shared the story, because I want people to hear just how practical that was. There was nothing mind-blowingly difficult in that process, correct?
Correct.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, super easy. And then just a quick question is, so the loan officer was the job I was going for. This is going to be a loan officer assistant. I'm going to be working under a really experienced, high-producing guy. And the compensation plan is awesome, and it's exactly what I need and want. I guess just trying to get it out of my own head that the title of loan officer assistant, I'm this guy's assistant, and just, putting that out there on like social media, LinkedIn is like, that's my job. And like, if I was ever to go on my own, like I've been an assistant for years, like I think it's a good place to start, but I guess just how do you get that title out of your head as that sounds.
I love the question, dude. And you know what? Welcome to being a human, and we all have got pride. And pride can be a real enemy to progress if we're not careful.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is, this is a good job. This is giving you the experience you need. And people in your industry know what that title means. That's not going to make you look bad. And, kill it. Get in there and do a great job. Maybe you can talk your leader into changing your title a little bit. But if you're focused on title, and by the way, I understand why you are, but you're going to have to get over that because this isn't your dream job anyway. This is the next step on the ladder, the next rung, if you will. So embrace it. Get over it. I understand why you feel the way you feel. You shouldn't feel bad about it. You're not a bad person, but just stop thinking about it. But you spend more time going, gosh, this title makes me sound like an assistant, like I'm not actually doing the work. Well, not really, because people know that title in your industry, and what it really matters is not the title on your resume. It matters the work and the recommendations for people in the industry that you have built relationships with who are going to help you and usher you right into your next gig anyway. So you live the proximity principle, which you have, then think about it. Not only did you use the proximity principle to get the job you want, now you're going to use the proximity principle to really never have to apply for a job again. Now, I'm being a little bit romantic when I say that, but think about it. If you truly use the proximity principle well, you're not just going to apply for something. An opportunity is going to come to you, and then they're saying, hey, we want you. And so when you apply, it's nothing more than just a part of the process, but people are seeking you out. That's what I teach, and that's what you need to be doing. So stop worrying about title and start worrying about the right people in the right places in this new gig. That's all you worry about. Forget title. And you'll never have to worry about title. You'll never have to worry about people's perception of you. Keep using the proximity principle. Now, new people coming in all the time. Biggest month ever on YouTube last month. The proximity principle says this: in order to do what you want to do, plug in the dream job. In order to do what you want to do, you've got to be around people that are doing it, right? Successful people that are in that job, in that industry, and then in places where that is happening. So again, in the industry, right? In communities around that type of work. And so the idea is you want to meet the right people and then get yourself into companies where you can meet more of the right people. So people plus places equals opportunity. I wrote a best-selling book entitled The Proximity Principle. And it's all about helping you get where you want to go. So for those of you who are out of stage 1, which is get clear, and you're in stage 2, which we're going to talk about in more detail in moments, this is where the proximity principle comes in, and in stage 3, which is get connected. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So the proximity principle is the game-changing success principle. And if you want to get the book, we got a great deal on it right now. All 3 formats, only $25 at kencoleman.com. So that's an unbelievable price for all 3 formats: ebook, hard copy, and the audiobook read to you by me. 844-747-2577 is the number. Kayla's up next in Sacramento, California. Kayla, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Pleasure to talk to you today.
Well, the pleasure's all mine. What's up?
Thank you. So my husband works in the prison system and was going to be transferring prisons back in April so that we can move closer to my family. And because of that, I quit my job in police evidence to prepare for that. That was obviously all put on hold because of the COVID outbreak. And now I've been without a job for about 5 months, and we've been so blessed to be able to afford that financially. But I'm wondering if I should be doing something like volunteer work or just finding some sort of a placeholder job to fill that employment gap that's going to be in my resume, or if I should just be kind of telling myself to calm down and enjoy this season of life at home.
Based on what I just heard, I like calm down and enjoy this season of life.
Okay, that's what I was leaning towards, but I just needed a little bit of reassurance.
Yeah, because you're in a financial situation where you don't have to have the money, and I am not worried about the employment gap, because I think when you get back in the game, your employment gap is very easily explained. Husband
just
was
by COVID itself.
Yeah, I had to resign because we were moving for my husband's career. Then COVID came in, paused Hub's transfer, And we felt it was best for me to stay at home during the pandemic for all the reasons that people will understand. Mm-hmm. And so now things have changed. Here I am. So you don't have to even think twice about that gap. Everybody on the planet is going to understand that. And if they don't, they've just identified themselves as goofballs and a bad culture that you wouldn't want to work there anyway. So nothing to worry about. Enjoy this season.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Ken.
Yeah, you bet. I can hear it all over you, by the way. I mean, you're loving this season. You've turned lemons into lemonade, and good on you. Really good. 844-747-2577. Coming up in a few minutes, I'm going to break down, for those of you that are new to the program, yesterday we covered stage 1 of my 7 stages, the clear path to meaningful work. Like, when I tell people, they say, Ken, how you doing? I go, I'm living the dream. Because I am in my sweet spot doing work that I'm good at, that I love, and that creates results that matter deeply to me. And now it's all about, I'm in my own stage 7, right? 6 and 7. I am living the dream, but it is all about meaning. All right. All about meaning. We're trying to create results that last longer than us. That's what we all long for. All right. So, by the way, it occurs to me, Joe, some teammates walked by the glass and gave me the salute while I was talking, and I just instinctively saluted. And I'm thinking, all the YouTube people are going, what's the deal there? Right? Yeah, you just decide to salute us randomly, and I got to remember I'm live. And I'm able to talk to you all, and then somebody wave at me, wave too, because we're the way it looks here at Raven Solutions, we got glass this way. I can see Joe and Nathan and Madison, and then we got glass this way, and people sit out there and watch the show, or teammates walk by, and every once in a while a friend will walk by. And so you instinctively wave. So I needed to explain that. All right, let's go to the chat room. Oh, wait, I interrupted myself. So we're going to talk about stage 2, right? So stage 1 is get clear, and stage 2 is get qualified. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. Boy, oh boy. ADHD is real, folks. The struggle's real. Those of you out there who struggle with this, listen, I just felt like I saluted, then I went, oh, geez, I just saluted. Nobody knows why I'm saluting. I go off and I've interrupted my own thought. So there you go. Thank you all. The medication will kick in about 5 minutes. So everybody relax. It's going to be fine. Took it a little late this morning. All right, to the chat room we go. Dylan writes in, hey, Ken, I have a second interview coming up. What tips do you have for the second interview that may be different from the first interview? And I really don't have a whole lot different. In our How to Win the Interview, which is a free guide, that's what he's talking about. I believe it seems to me that he has read that, which is a free resource, one of our 3 Get Hired guides at kencoleman.com. So we teach how to prepare so that you perform well. When you get to the second interview, it's largely a rinse and repeat. Go back and go, okay, what are the things that I think I did well in the first interview? This is you scoring yourself. Think about all the things that you were asked. It's possible that if you have in the second interview different people, that they may ask you some of the same questions because they want to hear it themselves. So I would do the research and go, are there new people in the second interview? If it's the same people, but it's a second interview, then obviously they want to go deeper on some stuff. And so think about some of the things that they may ask. And I would tell you, as it relates to your comfortability doing this, I know I would be comfortable with this. I would email and go, hey, I'm looking for the second interview. Anything that I can do to be thinking through what you would like to know, want to be prepared. And if they don't want to tell you because they want to hit you on the spot, great. But if they go, wow, I like this. This person's hungry. Dylan wants to do some research. He wants to be prepared. So I like that. So, I think that's a couple ways to go about it. But the second interview, in my mind, is always about depth. And so think about naturally, where would you go if you were interviewing you? That'll help you get some ideas on what questions you're going to answer. If there's, again, new people coming in, you're probably going to be doing a recycle on some stuff. And they just want other people to get some information and then a feel for you as well. So same preparation, do it the same. It's rinse and repeat. Roxanne writes in, how do I quickly communicate my skills during an interview? It's not about how quick you do it. It's just about how effective you do it. So you don't need to be like, get it out real quick. just be succinct. And so again, what I would do, and we give you our career clarity guide. You hear me talk about this all the time. What do you do best? You need to be really clear on that list. And so part of your preparation is you got your top 5. It could be top 3. I think any more than 5, it's unnecessary. But be ready when they say, hey, what are your top skills? You've got that on your resume as well, what I do best. But I think that for me, it's not about how quick you do it. It's just very effective. And tie them all together, meaning that this works like this together, this works like this works like this, and this is why I'm applying for this job, because I think it's a really good fit for me. That's going to be the impressive way to do it. That's what I mean by efficient. So don't try to blast through them quickly. Do it really effectively, how you tie them together, almost like a string between all of your top 5, if you're going to go 5 or 3 skills. Show how they work together, how they feed off of each other or build on each other, if you will, and then how they're relevant to the gig. That's the way to do it. I think that's very impressive. Let's do one more here. Kimberly writes in, how can I help someone find their sweet spot when they're looking for a career path? Well, first thing I would do is download the Career Clarity Guide at kencoleman.com. It's a free resource. Mail it to them. Email it to them. Say, hey, I listen to this guy, I listen to the show. This is a simple exercise. He does it on the program a lot. Fill this out and maybe listen to the podcast. Send them a link to the podcast. Get them to start listening to the show. Because then they can... What's great about a program like this, if you are a friend or family member that's trying to help somebody like I'm trying to help the audience, is it's a non-intimidating way for you to get them engaged in this conversation. You're not sitting with them and telling them all the things they need to do and whether you got a great heart or not. That can sometimes put pressure on people. But if you just go, hey, listen to this. Listen to this guy talk to people. There are a lot of people that are in your boat. And they call in every day. It's free. Listen to the podcast or watch it on YouTube. Listen to it on your radio station, Sirius XM, whatever. Let's start with those 2 things. And there's one other free resource that I think would be fun for them that takes about 3 minutes. It's 20 questions. It's called Should I Quit My Job Quiz. And actually, I'd have them take the Should I Quit My Job Quiz first, because inevitably the answer is they should, right? That's why you're talking about it. But there's some questions and things that lead them to one of 4 results. So it's almost like a really minor, small assessment. And it's going to spit out the report. When they get it, it's going to really get them in a place where they go, gosh, it's time. I need to do this. Because I think as a friend or family member, that's where you got to start. It's like you got to help somebody realize they are stuck and it ain't good. Pardon my grammar. But that's what you got to get them to first. Their own realization that they're stuck and they need to move. Not just you saying that you see it. It's got to get personal to them. So the Should I Quit My Job Quiz is probably what I'd have them start with. And then say, do the Career Clarity Guide after that. Now that you know, and probably the report's going to be the one we see the most is I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong role in the wrong place. Okay. So I'd start there with those 2 resources and hopefully they'll call the show. 844-747-2577 is the number, 844-747-2577. Okay. Hopefully I can stay focused for you folks. All right. Stage 1 of the 7 stages to meaningful work, to work like no one else, is get clear. And we talked about that yesterday. So you can go see yesterday's show as I break down the 3 indicators, the gauges of self. So it's self-awareness is what we're doing in stage 1. Now, once we're clear on what we do best, talent, what work we love to do most, passion, what results of our work matter deeply to us, mission, and we see how they intersect for that sweet spot, and we say, oh, this is the role in my sweet spot. I can get this idea of this role that I'm supposed to fill. So it's not even a job. It's just like an actor, like an actress playing a role. This is the part I'm supposed to play in work. If I do that, I'm in my sweet spot. And there's so many jobs and career paths that will allow you to play that role. All right. Once you're clear, now we've got to step into stage 2, and that's what am I going to have to do to get qualified? Now, some of you will move through this stage really quickly because it's minor. Maybe you've got the degree. Maybe you've got some decent experience and you just need some small qualification. It won't take very long or whatever. So some of you blast through stage 2 right into stage 3, which is getting connected. And by the way, as we'll teach again tomorrow on Get Connected, stage 3, Many times you are walking through stage 2 and 3 at the same time because you can be getting connected with people while you're getting qualified. Okay? In fact, I recommend you should be walking through stage 2 and 3 at the same time. Now, for those of you who won't move quickly through the get qualified stage, because there's a lot you've got to do to get qualified. It's almost like you're starting from scratch. This is a tough stage. Maybe the toughest stage. It was for me. Having no broadcast degree, no real experience outside of emceeing live events. Okay, so it was tough for me. And I don't ever want to be the guy that spews motivational gibberish just to kind of get your emotions and feelings jacked up. I'm the guy that wants to help you change the way you think, your mindset. Then you'll be able to change the way you act. If I try to drive you on feeling, I'll get you all pumped up, and the minute the show's over and life hits you, you just go, oh boy, and you wither away. So understand, this is a tough stage, and I want you to understand how tough it is. It's tough because there's a lot to do here, and it's intimidating. So there's 4 questions. I call them the qualifying questions that you've got to ask and answer in stage 2, which is get qualified. Here they are. I've talked about it on the show last week. Going to always talk about it. We got to hit this stuff all the time. Here we go. First question is the education question. In other words, what do I need to learn to be qualified? Doesn't necessarily have to be a degree or a master's or anything else. But what is it that to succeed in the industry I want to be in the position I want to be in, what to get in? Not even the dream job, just to get in and then start working my way up to the dream job. What do I need to learn? That's the education question, all right? Second question is the experience question, which is what do I need to do? And I get calls all the time. Ken, I know what I want to do, and I've applied or I've looked into applying, but they say I need 2 to 3 years experience. I don't have it. And they look at me like, what do I do? And I go get the experience. Like, that's the deal. I had to start out on Saturday radio. I had to do a lot of really small, quite frankly, very humbling broadcasting hosting gigs to be able to get the chance to do some of the stuff I've done and am doing now. Like, there's only one way to get experience, and you got to go do it. Okay? So what experience do you need to eventually get to the dream job? Remember, that's the destination. All right. So that's the education question. Third question is the economic question. How much is the actual act of getting qualified going to cost me financially? Meaning, am I going to have to save up a lot of money to be able to do this? Am I going to have to sacrifice money? So how much is it going to cost? Where am I going to have to cut? See, all these are financial costs to be able to get qualified. And that leads to the fourth question, which is the expectation question. The fourth question is the expectation question because once we get the answers to the first 3 questions, we look back and we go, so this is what I got to learn. This is what I got to do. This is how much it's going to cost me. How long is that going to take? Now we get ourselves mentally prepared for the timeline. Now, the timeline does 2 things, and that's why I call it the expectation question. It allows us to have a realistic expectation of how long this is going to take, and we steel ourselves. Okay, that's a 2-year play. Gosh, I wish it could happen in 2 months, but it's 2 years. I know it's 2 years, so I'm prepared for that. Okay, that's the first thing it does. And the second thing it does is it helps us get really, really focused. See, once we accept the fact that it's going to take longer than we want, or maybe than we thought, we go, okay, that's real. I get it. Now I get super focused because in order to make it that long, you've got to be hyper focused. And it really helps create the intensity that you will need along the journey. That's why the expectation question is really important. So those are the 4 questions. And as you begin to answer those, essentially what's happening is the details come to you almost as if you were answering them on paper, and you begin to put a plan together. And then when you have this, you go, okay, what are the multiple pathways to get there? All right. So let me explain that a little bit further, because this is where the fear begins to dissipate once we go, oh, all right. I can get there this way. I can get there this way. So let's go back and review the question. So the education question, what do I need to learn? Okay, I know I need to get this. All right, so then we go, oh, well, where are all the places I can learn that? Okay, all right, see, multiple places I can learn. Okay, what experience do I need? Okay, where are all the ways, how are all the ways that I can get the experience? How much is going to cost? Well, because we've already looked at multiple places where we could get the education, we go, well, this place costs this much. This place costs this way. Oh, this one down here, this is great. And we go, oh, it doesn't matter the name brand of where we get the education, just that we get it. I've said this 100 times. When we go to the doctor, you don't make the doctor pull out their diploma and show you where they went to med school. You just don't do that. So understand that it's not just that you get the answers and go, oh, okay, it's going to cost this much. It's going to require that I get this amount of experience, and that's going to take me roughly this long. It's that we take that initial information, that first detailed plan we look at, and we go, wait a second, let me do more research and see if I can shave some money off. Can I shave some time off of this? And so it allows us to truly pick the best path. See, it's good to put a plan together by initially answering those 4 questions, but then you want to dive into them, do more research, come up with, well, can I make a connection here that may speed up this process or cut some cost here? That's what's so fun about those 4 questions. And so review those, the education question, the experience question, the economic question, the expectation question, and boy, oh boy, the fear seems to go away when I talk to people who do this, and it worked for me. That's where this whole thing comes from, my own path. Because once I had the answers, then the mountaintop was not so scary. But before, it was really unknown, and it felt very intimidating and scared me half to death. So that's why get qualified is tough. It takes a lot of time. Many times. It takes a lot of money. But boy, oh boy, it's always worth it. Always. And most people get stuck here. They just look at it and they go, oh, I'm not willing to sign up for that. That is going to be too hard and take too long. So I just want to be real with you. This is where a lot of people disqualify themselves. They just go, oh, not worth getting qualified. I'm out. And the sad part is that is where they are choosing. Think about this. It's where they're choosing misery over being uncomfortable because they know what their misery looks like. Well, I've already been miserable long enough. I can deal with it. What a terrible choice. Choose to be uncomfortable so that you can get qualified. And that sets you up to step into stage 3, get connected. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. Real quick, I mentioned the Proximity Principle Bundle, which is our #1 Wall Street Journal bestselling book that for those of you who know where you want to go, you're clear. You're in stage 1 or ready to step out. And stage 2 and stage 3 is where the Proximity Principle kind of straddles both of those stages. And so the book is available, all 3 formats for $25. So you get 3 books for the price of 1, audio, hard copy, and ebook, kencoleman.com. And also for young people, parents, grandparents, you've got kids that maybe going to homeschool, and so they want to work, or you got kids that are thinking about, hey, I got my first job, I want to get ready for next summer as we are thinking about the school year. And then when they might be able to work during breaks or during the summer break, our Foundations in Career Readiness is going to help your youngster, 13 to 19 years of age, land their first job and eventually step into their dream job. Covers everything you can imagine, from the resume to the interview to the deep dive stuff we talk about here on the show. I teach all the lessons. It's jam-packed. All they need is a computer, tablet, and internet access. It's $30, $29.99 right now. KenColeman.com. It's called Foundation Self-Study. This is designed for teenagers to get an edge in the workplace. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Lorraine, who is up in Sacramento, California. Lorraine, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for having me on again.
You bet. What's up? I understand we're doing a little tune-up, huh?
Yeah. So the first time I called, I was a little unsure sure, kind of leaning towards medical field because that's what I've always been in. But I don't know, I just did some digging and really thinking and praying on it, and I really want to just go after my true dream.
Yes.
And that is in public speaking.
Nice. Okay, so what's your question?
I was kind of like, well, I guess my question, you kind of went over it just briefly with stage 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, okay, I'm going to do public speaking. Now what?
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to get connected. I don't personally know anyone in it to be in the proximity of it.
Well, I think you probably do. I think you do, but let's see if we can make a bridge. Okay.
Okay.
So if we can draw a bridge here. So let's first start with, what do you want to speak about and who do you want to speak to?
I feel like, so what do I want to speak about? I want to encourage people. I want to encourage anyone and everyone to step into their dream, kind of like what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Sounds exactly like it. So that's the message.
Yes.
Okay, keep going. And now who's that audience? Is it everybody like me? I mean, I'm pretty much 15 to 65 is kind of who I'm thinking about, right? But what do you have a heart for a specific group of people that you want to share this message with?
Children, the youth, and just the up-and-coming generation.
Great.
So, yes, I would love to keep it broad and talk to everyone because, I'm well into my 30s and I'm just now getting into my dream. Yeah. So, of course, I want to encourage those people who are discouraged of that, but I really want to focus on children. Well, that's important. Shaping up.
That's important. And I'm really thrilled and proud of you because, I'm not... When I say I'm 15 to 65, it's because I'm a public broadcaster. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning I'm out there. And so it's like, whoever wants to consume this, let's go. I've had 13-year-olds call the show. But with you having a specific focus, I think that's huge. So therein lies how you start to make the connections. So if you want to speak to middle schoolers, high schoolers, college kids, I'm just saying this generally right now because I think that's your audience. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So where are those kids gathering? And we're going to think outside of COVID, right? We got to get outside of this. Where are those kids gathering that you would potentially have the opportunity to share your message? So you start with that. So where are those kids gathering? Let's give me 3 places where those kids are sitting gathered and they have speakers speaking to them.
Schools, churches. I don't know any events.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do. Come on, give it to me. So let's call it youth events or camps. How about that?
Okay.
Because you understand what those happen eventually. Eventually, the live event world's coming back. All right?
Right.
So for just example purposes, we got 3 areas. They're in schools, they're in churches, and I'm calling them youth events or camps. You understand what I mean when I say that?
Yes.
Youth events and camps. Okay. So if that's where the kids are, then you've got to start figuring out that's it. So how do I get an opportunity to get asked to come in and share my message with those kids in those places? And so the answer to that question is, well, I got to figure out who the gatekeeper is. See, in every one of those places, schools, churches, youth events, or camps, there is a decision maker or a small group of decision makers. Yes or no?
Mm-hmm. Yes, correct.
They're the gatekeepers. That's what I mean. They're the ones who decide who gets to speak to those kids. So you need to start making relationships with those people in Sacramento, California. Don't think national right now. Think local.
Okay.
So is there a 4-H club, Future Farmers of America? I'm making all this stuff. I mean, I'm not making it up. Those are real places. But you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
YMCA doing a lock-in with middle schoolers. I mean, everything you can do, because in the early days, you want to do everything you can. Now, so you got to identify the places and then the people who are the gatekeepers to those places where you could eventually speak. Then once you identify that, you got to start connecting with them. And I think the best way for you to connect with them is to pick a couple places where you volunteer your time. And they go, Lorraine is a great person. She loves these kids. She loves the cause. She's a bright light. And they get to know you. And then you go, hey, I'm working my way. My eventual goal is to speak to young people about purpose in their career. And I'd be happy to do a workshop for free or whatever. That's how you get started. And so then you find ways to connect with those people beyond just volunteering. Who do you know that knows those gatekeepers? Or who do you know that knows somebody that knows those gatekeepers? Then all of a sudden, the person who's in charge of the FFA, a big event where 5,000 kids come every year, they hear from a person who knows you really well and says, let me tell you about Lorraine. Lorraine's got a real heart for young people and helping them figure out how to work on purpose in their life. And I think she'd be great for a breakout. So I know it feels intimidating, but let's just pause for a moment. Now that I've explained how I would go about doing it, does that make sense to you? And do you feel a little bit more confident now that you do have the ability to make the connections and actually get going?
Yes, but I do have a question. My question is, what do you think about investing in workshops such as with E.T., Eric the Preacher, or those speakers, or John Maxwell, going to workshops that are fine-tuning my personal speaking ability? And or what about starting a YouTube channel or a podcast to get content out there and to build the social media aspect of it? Yes,
and yes.
Okay.
That's it, and that's brilliant. That's where I was going to go next, and I love that you asked it, because you want to go volunteer to do all that stuff, but you've also got to be on your own honing the message,
right?
And not just honing the message, but building an audience as well. And that's the beautiful thing about all the things you listed that you need to do: a YouTube channel, a podcast, Facebook Lives, whatever. You have got to start honing your content. And as you hone your content, the content gets better. The audience likes it more. They spread the word. It's just like starting a cookie place or a pizza place. We want to make really good cookies. So that people who buy the cookies go, oh my gosh, have you had the cookies over there? And that's the deal. Mm-hmm. And so with content, you've got to develop it. So you need to come up with your methodology. You need to come up, and the only way you come up with methodology is to understand your philosophy. So let me put you to the test real quick. How long have you been listening to my show?
I would probably say about a year.
Okay, great. What would you say my philosophy is? And by the way, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, so don't get all worried about this, because I'm going to give you the answer if you don't know it. But I think it's important for somebody who you want to basically share the message that I'm sharing, so I want to put you to the test. What is my philosophy?
To step into your sweet spot, to figure out what you do best and what you love to do most, and that's where you belong.
Okay, well, that's my methodology. Okay, so I'm okay that you got the answer wrong. My methodology, what I teach is you need to figure out what you do best, talent, what work you love to do, passion, and then the results of your work that fire your soul, that's mission. So when I teach the clear path of the 7 stages, that's my methodology. Do you understand that?
Yes.
See the difference? Now I'm going to tell you what my philosophy is. And when I say it, you're going to go, oh, yeah. But my methodology is my methods by which I teach and guide people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So everything I teach is in that clear path of the 7 stages. And the sweet spot is the tip of the methodology sphere, right? The tip of the spear. Now my philosophy is this. It's how I open the show every day, and you've heard me say it hundreds of times. I say, you were created to fill a unique role in your work. You were needed, you must do it. That's my philosophy. So I have a philosophy that says every man and woman was created on purpose. They've got a contribution that they can make and should make in the workplace, and I'm trying to get as many people as possible. All right, now that's my vision. To hear that message, believe the message, and do something about it. But my philosophy is that you are valuable, you're supposed to work on purpose, and a boring job is contrary to what you were created to do. Does that make sense to you now when I say what my philosophy is? So you need to come up with your own philosophy. Now, it could be the same as mine, but said differently. But that's what you got to figure out, because it is your philosophy that fuels your methodology. Make sense?
Yes.
What I just did, by the way, was give you all a free workshop on how to develop content. Okay? And
with the fire hose.
You got it. No, I know. I gave it to you quick. But that's your homework assignment, because you must always retreat to philosophy in creating any new content or any product or anything like that, because people got to know what you believe. And that's what philosophy means. What's your philosophy?
Yeah.
This is what I believe.
Absolutely.
And then what's your methodology on how people actually arrive at that destination that you believe they should arrive at? And so that's all you got to come up with. Okay.
Awesome.
It's going to take time.
Thanks, Ken.
But listen, Lorraine, will you please stay tuned to what we're doing here? Because I think there are going to be some opportunities for you to step into some things we're developing. That's all I can say right now.
Absolutely.
Joe will shock me. He's got a little shock button over there. If I start to get too close to talk about stuff we're working on, he hits it. And so if you've ever been watching the show and I do one of those numbers, it's because Joe said I'm saying too much. Oh, now he's got sound effects. I like that, Joe. That's good. I prefer the sound effect, not the shock. And it occurs to me that sometimes we say things on the air that people believe. Yeah, Madison said, people will go, is Ken really shocked? No, folks, it's sarcasm. Joe does not have a shock device on me, although I think he would love to at times. But that's a whole nother issue. Hey, it's been fun today, but I got to go. It's my least favorite part of the show. But I want you to know that you matter and that you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.